All right. Welcome to WTW. Work Together Wednesday. Such a fun, I love alliteration. So, that's just what I do. I love these power hours, and we have not done them in forever. And so I'm really grateful that October came along, and that was part of our overall plan that our leadership of our team wanted to do for this month, because it's reminding me how important it is that we just get together. And I think especially this year, where we have missed out on some of our major hangout trips like convention and all of that stuff, that this is just another sweet way for us to remind each other that we're in this together, and that we're doing the fun things, the easy things, and the hard things together to move forward. So thank you guys for being on. We'll do these every Wednesday this month. And if you guys want to continue doing things like this, whether it's weekly or bi-weekly or different times during the week, we'll probably do like a poll or something to figure out when works best for everyone. But would love to talk about continuing this kind of just work together atmosphere. Because for some of us, that's really important to know that we're not having to overcome fears and work towards something alone. So, hi. Okay. So this week's scary thing is reaching out to people. And don't just mean reaching out. We are talking about first contact coming from you, connecting to someone else. You might also know this as cold messaging, but cold messaging sounds a lot scarier than connecting and reaching out and contacting someone for the first time, right? And so don't call it cold messaging. If that bothers you and that makes it sound different than what it really is, then don't use that term. Term doesn't really matter. What we're talking about here is connecting people for the first time to you, and so that they can learn about these products and fill a need in their lives that you may not even know that they have. Most people are not wearing their issues, whether financial or health, on their sleeve. Most people do not talk about their health issues, especially the really tough ones, like how many friends you know dealing with Hashimoto's or PCOS or autoimmune issues that you can't tell are sick, or depression, anxiety, that aren't putting that out there for the world to see, but are internally struggling. Okay. This is why we reach out to people, because you never know the state that someone is in or what they have been praying for that you might be answering. Okay. We're connecting people to something that could meet a need, and we are vessels to fill that need for them with this amazing opportunity, with these amazing products, and sometimes with this amazing community. Right? Sometimes the community is one of the things that people need the most, especially in 2020, you guys, right now. Connecting people to a group of women who are believers, some work, some stay home, like we're encouraging each other. Some people really need that right now. Okay. So you never know what type of blessing you're connecting someone to, but they will miss that blessing if we don't give them an opportunity to figure out that it's even there. Right? So show of hands, who here saw a post on Facebook and reached out to the person and said, hey, what are you doing? I want to join. I want to try those products. Amanda, 1. Christina, 1. Okay. 9 times out of 10, most people are not going to actually reach out to you based on a post. So how many of you maybe were in conversation, or someone messaged you, or there was an in-person conversation that got started about Plexus, and then you were maybe thinking about posts that you had seen, but you would not have maybe had the guts to talk to that person and ask questions yourself? That was me. I had been watching Abby post, and honestly, if she had not started that conversation, I didn't know her really well enough to feel comfortable to reach out to her. But guess what I don't remember about my journey with Plexus right now? I cannot believe that Abby messaged me. I only met her like one time in Africa. Like, I'm a diamond right now. Like, I'm really glad that Abby reached out and messaged me. Like, I didn't really know her very much at all. Guess who else responded to a cold message, basically a cold message, not even really about Plexus, was Jessie Duke. She is one of the emeralds on our team right now. She would not be here You guys, half of you guys that are on her team would not be here had she not responded to a first reach out that I sent her. Okay. And so I want you to think about this in that way when you're thinking about connecting with someone else. 85 to 90% of the people that are in our team that you love, that are loving their products, loving having a paycheck to help pay for extra things, or enjoying working this business, are here because somebody started a conversation with them, not because they just saw a post, right? Posting is our marketing, but messages and conversations connect people to what you're showing them through your Facebook. And I think another important thing for us to remember is we cannot assume that people see our posts. I thought when I started posting that every one of my 4,000 Facebook friends was going to see my Plexus post and make fun of me for it. Guess how many people liked or commented on my very first Plexus post? 100%. Zero. Nobody even saw it. Okay. And even still, I've been doing this for 5 years. Some of my Plexus posts, unless it's like y'all, have like 4 likes and like maybe 1 or 2 comments. If I was just going off of my post, I would not have anybody on my team. Okay. So there are seasons where I have definitely like pushed with a lot of reach outs and tried to make major connections, or like if you're at church or if you're working at a school or wherever you are, like have a conversation. Like don't be afraid to bring this up. If y'all, at one point in my journey, I was like, I literally posted something on Facebook and I was like, I'm sorry, but if you continue to talk to me about your seasonal allergies, I will bring up probiotics and I will talk to you about gut health. So either stop complaining to me or get ready for the conversation. Okay. Like we have to be so confident in what we have, and that comes through belief building. That comes from us attending things like Real People, Real Stories ourselves, right? That comes from us plugging in to our team calls and understanding what you have to offer people. And when we have that belief, it's a lot easier to step out on a limb and say, man, I have this awesome thing that I know you're probably super skeptical of, but that's okay because I know it's awesome and I know that it could be a major blessing for you. And so I'm going to start this conversation so you can start paying attention and see if it will be a good fit and something you want to do. But we are going to have to start that ball rolling for people most of the time. So yeah, so 90% of people who want what we have, there's going to be people that don't care, that don't want what we have. They want to drink Mountain Dew for the rest of their life and they don't want anybody to like mess with them about it, right? They just want to live their life, live their best life, and it's fine. There are people though that are praying for answers for big things, that are piled under mountains of debt. And they're like, I'm never getting out of this, right? There are people who need what we have. And about 90% of those people will never reach out to you to find it. Either they don't know it's real, they don't think it's real, or they're too embarrassed to start that conversation, okay? So if you're only posting, you're maybe helping about 10% of the people that you really could be helping. Because I know most people, you know, people who, nobody loves first contact messages. Like nobody's like, I can't wait to go send messages today and like start awkward conversations potentially, you know. They could be great conversations, you don't know. But they're sweet people, people that love people, kind of like we talked about last week with live videos. A ton of people that are terrified of live videos are actually people. Like they love people, they love talking to people, they're terrified of live videos. Well, you got to switch your brain here, right? Like I'm talking to people, so it's not hard. I like it now, you know? In the same way, I know so many people on our team love helping people, and their heart is to reach people and impact their lives and maybe grow a big impact for their team, or to just help even just one more person or connect them to this stuff so that it makes a difference in their health or in their finances, right? You can help more people the more conversations you're willing to have and the more conversations you're willing to start. Totally, I say totally a lot, so sorry. People on our team, I know even Jody said last week, she was watching for 7 months, Kim, posting, never once liked, never once commented. And you think about Jody. Jody is not a shy person. You know what I mean? I feel like Jody would be one of those people you're like, oh, she ain't scared. You know, if she was curious or she wants something, she's going to ask a question, but she didn't. So if we can even look at that and say, man, like if someone who's like a go-getter like Jody is still not even going to reach out and start that conversation, like Kim actually had to be the one to still start that conversation, I think. Do you know what I mean? Like there are people, this is the thing. I remember someone saying this to me and I was like, dang, well, I'm not doing all this posting for someone else. They said, if you are not starting conversations, having conversations, or reaching out to people, if you're just posting, you are marketing for someone else who is brave enough to start the conversation. Because y'all, it doesn't matter if someone's been watching you for 7 months and loving every one of your posts, and you have been building their belief and building that hope inside of them. If someone else messages them and answers their questions and gives them a discount, guess who they're going to sign up with? That person who reached out to them and took care of them. So we don't also want to just be marketing, because you're working hard on that. Like posts are not just like, yes, I love throwing up posts and I love learning new things and I love, you know, putting this out on my sleeve for everyone to see. If you're going to do that work of marketing these products, make sure that people know that you have something to offer and that you really do want it for them. So if you have paper, I want you to write this sentence down. Some of you are going to be like, I know, I hear you say this all the time. But literally, I have to remind myself before I reach out to people. Okay, are you ready? Raise your hand if you're ready. Just make sure you're alive. Okay. I want this for you. And that's the first part. I want this for you. I don't need this from you. I want this for you. I don't need this from you. So if I'm reaching out and I'm starting a conversation with someone in my heart, and I'm going to repeat that to myself, y'all, that is something that I have to say. Like, I'm going to check my heart when I'm reaching out to someone. How am I putting this across? Because you would think if I'm being needy, or if I need this from you, it might be like I'm pushy or I'm salesy. You know, maybe sometimes people are like that. They're like going after a goal and they're like, no, sign up, buy this. But like 9 times out of 10, we need this from them because we're like, I know I'm sorry, like, I know this might be annoying, but like, that doesn't communicate that you want this for them because it's so amazing. It communicates like, I'm trying to share about this because I really want to get that mixer, and I know you may not even care about this, but would you just watch this video? Do you know what I mean? Like, the more apologetic we are, we're not communicating that this is something that we want for them because we love them, or we care about them, or we see them struggling with X, Y, and Z, or we just know what an opportunity is. And I don't know what you might be struggling with, but I know someone reached out to me and I looked into this, and I'm so glad that I did. You know, so I want this for you. I don't need this from you. And what that does is helps you connect to people with a mindset of, I have something that could meet their need, and it's take it or leave it. I want this for you. I don't need it from you. And that also separates me from feeling bashed by a no or crickets or whatever, because I just want it for you. I want you to feel better. I want you to understand that you don't have to live in debt. If you want to come home and stay with your babies, you can do that. I want this for you, but I don't need it from you. I'm not attached to your response to me, and I'm not attached to how many times I might have to touch back with you before you actually realize that you need this for yourself, right? So if you can remember that one simple sentence, it truly can change everything when you're about to have a conversation, or if you're sitting down to do your IPA and you're like, I hate this, I don't love it, but I'm gonna get 3 messages out because I know connecting with people is important, and I have something people need, and I want this for people. You know, every testimony that I see, I posted one about Paige Greenway today, that one about her PCOS. Do you know how many women, especially in our generation, are dealing with these symptoms, who are being tossed around doctor to doctor, like not even seeing any results and feeling worse because of the medicine that they're on? We want this for them. We want this freedom for them. And we are the ones that are blessed, and we get to connect them to something that they might grab a hold of, and it really might help them. So messaging is not sales. Okay. Our contacts, our first contact messages, our reach outs, that's not, copy your salesman down the road saying, I got to get my quota. I'm just going to go through and do cold messaging. And I also want you to realize every business in existence is marketing. And most of them also have sales teams that are doing cold calls. So this is not a network marketing thing. This is not a weirdo, like, oh my gosh, I joined this thing and now I have to cold call. Who does that? Actually, everybody does that. Every business that is growing is marketing to people, and they are contacting people that would fit their products. My husband used to work in insurance. Guess what he had to do every day in his office? Cold call about State Farm. Nobody hates State Farm. If they want State Farm, they're going to talk to the State Farm agent. And if they don't, they're going to be like, no, thanks. Right? On with my life. That's what we're doing. We're connecting with people, and we get to bless them. If they say yes, it's the hugest blessing ever. It's way better than State Farm insurance. So we're starting conversations that connect people and lead people to filling a need in their life. We talked about don't assume people are seeing your post a second ago. The reason is because most people aren't. I don't know if I finished that thought, and that is a helpful thought before we get into the rest of our stuff. But truly, 1% of your friends list is seeing your posts. And the reason why most of us Plexus people are the ones commenting and liking on stuff is, number one, because the people who are watching you and really want your stuff are not going to like and comment because they're embarrassed. Number two, we're the ones engaging with each other. And so we're the ones seeing each other's posts. So that's why on the bingo, we're going to look at that in just a minute, is that 25 list of engagement each week. Josie has a phenomenal video on our business page if that is you want some more details on that. But social media, we have to be social with people. So connecting via messages is less awkward when you're connecting in other ways too. When you're actually being social with people on social media, it feels less weird to be I'm just going to reach out to this person randomly. Okay, we'll pick 25 people every week, connect with them on social media, and then send them a message about something you saw on their page. You would be surprised. We're going to talk in just a minute about active listening. A lot of people don't talk about the secret things that they're struggling with, but a lot of people do talk about the things that they really hate, or their Starbucks runs, or X, Y, and Z, right? You would be very surprised what you can start a message and help somebody with based off of their Facebook posts. Okay, does anybody have any questions, reservations? Natasha's live video yesterday was awesome.
Yes.
She was so great. And she told me, and the reason I even had invited her is because she was like, I have utilized cold messaging from day one to build her business. There are a lot of people that will message and blast, or on and off, or maybe they're influential and they have, people that come in randomly and they don't have to send a lot of messages. But that's not normal. Most of the time, at some point in your journey, you do have to reach out. And that is based on how fast do you want to grow? How many people do you want to connect to? How many people do you want to sign up this month? Well, if you're someone who can make a post and have 14 conversations coming on, you may not have to send any messages this month. That's not me. Nobody responds to my Plexus post, and that's okay. It's marketing. It's something when I reach out to someone and I connect to someone and I have a conversation, that's my credibility. That's my education. And that's what I'm tagging people and I'm pointing people back to. And then that's when they start watching what you're doing after you connect to them, right? So it's not that posting is not helpful. Posting is the backbone of everything that we're doing, is because we're letting people see what we're doing and what we're a part of and why we love it. But you have to connect them to that sometimes as well. So, okay, people are watching. Connect to the people that are watching. Now, some quick stats on when you do send messages, right? Because now we're overcoming that fear. It's Overcome October. Natasha did a great call yesterday. If you missed it, go back and watch it. It's still on the page. But connecting with people is important. There is a very normal response rate, okay? this is what gets tough. People will send like 3 messages and be like, well, nobody responded, so I'm not going to ever do that again. You know? Well, there's about a 1 out of 10 response rate for initial messaging. We have to remember that prior to Plexus, I rarely checked my Facebook messages. How about you? Some people don't even know that Facebook has messages. So you've got those people in there. You also have busy people that see it and are like, oh, I need to go read this later. And then they never do. Okay. You have some people who are like, I don't know what that is, you know? And then some people who never open it at all. So 1 out of 10 response rate is normal. And guess what that response could be? Anybody? Yeah. That response could be no thanks, or not right now, or actually my sister-in-law sells that, or I've actually tried it before and it didn't work. There are so many ways that that conversation response can happen, okay? But guess what? How does it feel if you only sent 10 messages that week and you got one person coming back to you saying, oh no, no thanks? Does it feel good? Does it make you want to message more people? No. But if you play the law of averages here, and this is where numbers come in, okay? People are not numbers. That's not how we operate, and that's not what we're saying here. What we're saying here, though, is there is a law of averages and probability that is coming into contact with, I do want to have a conversation with somebody, though, you know? So if there's a response rate out of 1 out of 10, and that response could be yes or no, best case scenario, we're sending more than 10 messages a week so that you're connecting with people you can actually have a conversation with. It's not even so they can find people that'll say yes. The more people that you find, in fact, they're just starting this incredible book called Go for No. Has anyone on here read it before? It's super short. It's wonderful. And our corporate office is launching that like either this week or it's like their book of the month. And it's phenomenal. It's so cheap on Amazon. If you have trouble with messaging or like reaching out to people or having people tell you no, it's a wonderful must book, and it is super short and it's funny. It's like, it reads like a novel. It's not like a self-help book. It's really fun. But you think about it, if you were going for no, for instance, I want multiple people to talk to me. I want 4 people to tell me no. And if 4 people tell me no this week, then I might get 1 person that'll actually have a real conversation with me, right? If I get 7 people to tell me no, if I have 10 people tell me no this week, that means I've sent enough messages where 10 people have responded to me. And potentially out of that, then I'm going to have 2 to 3, maybe even more conversations where people are actually saying yes, or like letting me plug them into things, or let me send them a video or offer them a free sample. So it's all about connecting with people. And if we don't connect with enough people, first contact message wise, then we don't have anyone to actually have a conversation with. So that 1 out of 10 response rate is so important to remember. You send 3 messages and no one responds, you're not like hated. You're not just talking to enough people that will ever respond, and they may not have even ever seen your message. It's not even that they're not responding on purpose sometimes, you know? So also give yourself that benefit of the doubt. The next one is that it takes between 5 to 12 touches, we'll call them, before someone feels ready to make a decision. So that's also normal. It's okay that as soon as you enter in with conversation with someone, that they're not like, oh my gosh, let's sign up right now. When that happens, celebrate, throw a party, that's awesome. But usually it takes between 5 and 12 touches or follow-ups before someone feels ready. And that's with all sales. You know what happens most of the time though? We reach out to someone and they tell us no, or that they have crickets, and what do we never do again? We never message them again. We are just like, okay, sorry, I want to go call. And that is the number one mistake, like, of all salespeople anywhere, because like probability of someone saying yes to something on the first try is like next to nothing. On the second contact or follow up, it like increases by like 10% or something like that. After the third though, it like increases exponentially. And then between 5 and 12, it's like 90%. Y'all, and it doesn't even matter if you drive them nuts. Mary Catherine will tell you that she literally was my first ambassador. She signed up to shut me up. Like, I sent her so many messages. She's like, I will buy whatever you're talking about. Just stop sending me these novels and messages of what you're learning, right? Guess what? She's still here today. She's still loving the products, and she's still working this business with me. First person ever. You don't have to do it all right, and it's okay. You know, like, it's the Lord, it's in the Lord's hands at that point. Like, we're just doing our due diligence to do that. So 5 to 12 contacts. So this next part is why we're going to start off. If you do not have a running list of people that you have contacted you, have commented on your post, if you do not have a running list of people that you are in conversation with or have been in conversation with, then how will you ever get 5 to 12 follow-ups in order for them to say yes to something that they're excited about? Because you've built value and added value and told them why they're going to love it, right? Go ahead.
Can I ask a question? So I always feel really weird if I've already messaged somebody, especially if I messaged them when I first started Plexus, because those messages are really, really awful to reread. And so I always feel weird going back and messaging them again, feeling like, because it does feel kind of spammy when you, and I'm just like, I don't know what to tweak in the message to make it feel less like.
I think everyone can agree. Everyone appreciates honesty and vulnerability. Can we agree on that? Sometimes, whether it's someone on your team that you didn't take care of well, a leader that you like didn't support well, or a message that you were like, trust me, I have come across those many times from I'm like 2015, you guys, 5 years. I've been doing this 5 years. And I will come across messages where I'm just like, I sent that is so crazy, you know? And I will just laugh at myself, honestly, like, whether it's typing or on a voice message, to be like, oh my word, I just saw that message that I sent up there. No wonder you didn't respond. That is hilarious, you know? And I'm like, funny enough, I'm still doing this and still loving it. Just thought I'd check back in with you and just realized that I'd already sent you a message 4 years ago. Haha, you know, like, what are you up to these days? Laugh at yourself. Don't take yourself too seriously. Like, it's okay. We're all learning, and it's still a way to start a conversation where they might be like, oh my gosh, yeah, that was so like a ridiculous message. And you're like, oh yeah, I know, I'm so dumb. So what's up? Talking back to me. And in the same way, like, if you're following with a team member, like, it's like awesome to be able to apologize and be like, hey, you know what? I realize you've fallen off the horse with your products. I probably could have done a lot better job checking in on you and help keep you accountable. My life's been nuts, but that's really no excuse, because I know you trusted me with this when you signed up. I'd love the opportunity for us to try again and like maybe set up some type of, you know, check-in schedule. Like, just be real with people. And if they still say no, it doesn't matter. It's like, then you're kind of like, I did my due diligence, like, I'm good, right? Okay, so definitely having a list of people is important so that you know who you're missing, who you need to follow up with. Messaging people for events is awesome, right? Obviously, like, creating a message and connecting with someone out of the blue is more comfortable for some people, less comfortable for some. But guess what? We always have something you can be inviting people to. You can invite people to try a sample. Most people love free stuff. It's an awesome message to send to someone, first contact message. Really easy to say, hey, there's this event where my friends are sharing, you know, their stories. I'm trying to get people who will come on and really encourage them. And honestly, these stories are so wonderful and encouraging to me. I think you'd really enjoy what they have to say anyway. Would you want to hop on tomorrow night and listen to them? We're going to talk about that later for Real People, Real Stories tomorrow. There's always something you could be messaging and inviting someone to, whether it's an event, a testimony event, or anything. You could make something up, you know? I'm going to share my own testimony live. You want to come? Like, it's easier to reach out to someone and invite them to something maybe than just to start a conversation. But you have to have people that either you want to message for the first time or that you can follow up with to continue to invite them to things or offer them a sample or send them a testimony, right? So who has a list and how do you do it? I would love for 2 people to 3 people share how you keep up with your follow-ups. Josie, show us yours.
All Right. So what I did was a lot of times, like whenever we did, for example, what we called the explosion post, and a lot of people were commenting and stuff like that, I just made a huge list of all of them, and I actually highlighted who joined. But what I also do is I will keep my eye on people who are complaining about like migraines, energy, any kind of health issues, and I'll keep a list. And for example, use this example. There's a girl who actually had a major fail in having her skin done, right? Like having some sort of filler or whatever. And I'm like, oh my gosh, she needs Joyum. She needs Joyum. But I don't want to just jump on her right away with a message and like really seem spammy. So now what I do with that is I just keep commenting on her posts, and then I'm going to do a Joyum post, and then I know that I'll be showing up in her feed. So what I do is I collect those names, whether it be from a post. And another really good one is when you do a Plexus post up in the stories, and you know how you're seeing everybody like it and stuff like that. That's where I get my list too. Can you hear me okay?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So yeah, so that's how I do it too, is like I'll just keep that list of everybody, and then you can send them a message like, hey, thanks for showing me some love on that post or anything like that. Have you had any interest in, wanting to learn a little bit more about Plexus or anything like that? And so that's how I come together with my list. But I have to share something that really ties in with what you were saying about reaching out to people. Literally today, I put in like the comments here in the Zoom. I had 2 people reach out to me, somebody who I haven't talked to since 2017 and 2018. And you know what? Even though I had messaged them, like the initial cold message a long time ago, stayed in touch with them. Hey, did you have any thoughts on it? They were like, no, really, like they had to tell me like 3 times, no, now's not a good time. But what I did was I stayed connected to them in the Facebook. Understand the algorithms, and I know that you need to comment at least 3 words with emojis and things like that. But I was also being genuine. And sure enough, I really couldn't believe I'm signing a girl tonight from who I haven't talked to since 2018, because posting consistently builds belief. That's what you always tell us. And I'm telling you, it really works. This has happened to me more than once. Just because they say no, or even if they don't comment, because you send them a message through Messenger, you are now, putting the algorithms in your favor. And so I'm getting off the point about the list, but that's what I do after I get my list. I just stay connected with them and I keep commenting on posts.
Yes, it makes it so much easier to know. So like one of the bingo things, so I always want to wrap this around to the bingo. Like the reason the bingo is there is to remind you of these little things, because there's so many little things. Like IPA is income producing activity, or impact producing activity, or intentional productive activity, whatever makes you feel better. It's going to be something that actually grows your team and grows your paycheck, right? Yes, it's reaching out. Yes, it's posting. Yes, it's, those simple things, but there's a lot that goes into that that's more beneficial, that makes all of that kind of work better. And that's what some of those squares on the bingo is. So one of those main ones is that 25 people, a list for engagement. And that's exactly what Josie's talking about. So I love that idea of going, if you have not tried that, like if you click on your own stories, you can see who's been giving you thumbs up or hearts or whatever. That means people are watching you. And Natasha said that yesterday in her live. She's like, you may not be getting likes and comments on your posts on your feed, but if you have 200 or 300 people seeing your story every day, then people are watching you. They just may not be seeing you in their feed, right? Or these are the people. So that's genius to go through there and just write people's names down. I'm going to connect with these 25 people this week, because regardless of if they want to join Plexus, they're going to start seeing my stuff. Social media is about social. The algorithms are the people you connect with are the people that are going to see your stuff so they can connect with you. Like it is social. So if you're only connecting with Plexus, people are only commenting and liking on your like teammates' posts, they're probably the only people seeing your post as well. So genius. So that is one of the things on bingo. So let's take 5 minutes. It's 9:07. We're going to kind of go through these last few things, take 2 to 3 minutes on these. I know I talked a whole bunch, but messaging is just one of those scary things that unless we get our mind right about what it really is, it's such an important part of what we do if you want to really make a big impact, and if you really do want this to be life-changing income for your family, whatever that looks like. reaching out is so important. So that's why I did spend a lot of time there. So I apologize for that. But all right, next 5 minutes, a list of 25 people. Go through that stories thing. Go through people you've been talking to before that never got off the fence. You need to have a list somewhere, whether it's on your phone, in your planner, on a broken sheet of paper. It doesn't matter as long as you can keep up with it and continue to add names. I think Jody uses a spiral bound notebook that she's used forever and just literally keeps adding names to it and crossing people off. So let's take some time to do that. All right, let's go ahead and move on. So obviously that list of 25, that could be people that you're following up with. That could be people, where's the music that's gonna start up? You know, all of that are just continually watching posts. Maybe that's someone you're gonna be connecting with for the 3rd time or the 5th time or the 12th time, right? But about first contact messages, it's really hard to pull 5 or 10 people a day to contact for the first time out of a hat. When I first started, I tried to do that. I would like go down and scroll and be like, who do I want to message today? And guess what? I found a reason to not message every single person that I saw on my newsfeed. So that was not helpful to me. So in our monthly workflow that a lot of you print out and use every month, and as well it's in your back office, is a list of 64. There's no wrong way. Yeah, Jess, look at that girl. She's got it right there. There's no wrong way to make a list of people. right? Like even Josie was saying that, like people that you see because they're talking about their migraines, or you heard someone at church talking about their son has really bad eczema and they don't know what they're doing. These are people that you will contact in some form or fashion for the first time. And you need to have a list of those people. So when you go to sit down and have your 5-minute potty break at work, or your 10 minutes while you're nursing your baby, and that's when you're sending your messages for the day for your IPA that you do and you're going to do, right? It helps to have a list of people that you can just go, I want this for you. I don't need this from you. And I'm just going to press send. Okay. But if you have to scroll through and find 5 people that you feel like messaging, it's probably not going to happen, because been there, done that. Okay. So one of the things that I used to do, and I'm going to tell you to be creative and search on YouTube if you do not know how to do this, because the people on YouTube will explain it a lot better than me. And from the last time I did it, Facebook has changed. But you can actually print out your Facebook friends list. That's how I started messaging people. That is 5 years ago. I printed out, and I had 4,000 friends, y'all. It was like this thick. But I printed that out because, number one, I didn't see a fraction of those people actually in my newsfeed, right? I printed out that list and I'm like, I don't even know if I know you, you know? But those are people that I could connect with that I never would have just jogged my memory to reach out and message. Okay, so having a list of people like that helps to be able to, like, yes, maybe there's someone you're going to circle and be like, I'm going to come back to you next week because I'm not there yet. You know, I don't want to have that conversation yet. That's okay. Still go send 5 messages. If you want to be Senior Ruby or Emerald by next July, go send 10 to 20 messages a day. I'm telling you, start those conversations. But it's easier if you have a list of people to work from, so that your brain doesn't have to say, no, if you message her, then you'll see her on Friday and then she'll probably, you know, that's where you go. So the list of 64 is awesome. That gives you 64 people. That's 2 people a day in 1 month. Okay. Plus a couple extras. That's not a ton at all if you think about that. And if you've not been messaging anybody, that's a great place to start. 2 messages a day, you're going to get 14 conversations going a week. And with that 1 out of 10 response rate, you may find yourself in some good Plexus conversations that would never have happened had you not been reaching out. Plus the ones that you're already getting kind of randomly from posts or whatnot, right? But depending on your goals, and this is where you work with your sponsor, however many your response rate is, like, depending on your goals, you may need to amp that number up. Maybe 2 a day messaging is not enough. Maybe it's 5 a day. My Abby Kappa, y'all just don't even know. She's cute and like awesome on her podcast. Homegirl was like a stickler. She's like, if you want to grow in this business, you will message 10 to 20 people a day. That is what I grew up with, you know, like that just was it. Like, you have to connect with people if you want to actually grow. So list of 64, awesome place to start. That is in your monthly workflow or in your back office, or just start using a sheet of paper, something. Just get a list together. So find something. I'm not saying you have to do all 64 now, whether it is going and finding that file and printing it, going and finding the one you printed earlier in the month or last month and getting it out. Find what you're going to use to accumulate these names, and or print out your Facebook friends list so that you can message without the hesitation and the setback of having to think of people every single day. Super helpful. All right, let's take like 2 minutes to decide where you're going to have that, whether it's on your phone, in a notebook, or go find that monthly workflow. All right. Y'all figuring out what you're doing? Drop in the chat what you are going to be using to collect your first contact names as you see them and as you think of them and as you seek them out on purpose. Notepad, yep. Phone, perfect. Yeah, it doesn't have to be fancy. It just has to be something that you'll see and that you'll use, right? Yes, awesome. Journal, notebook, Vanessa, yes, a planner. If you have your planner with you, then that's a great thing because you can also schedule in follow-ups and check-ins and, you know, you can, I used to put like 5 names on every day. Like, oh, here's my list of 64, but I'm going to actually make it easier on myself when the time comes. I'm going to put those names there. Yep, Vanessa, she's got it written right there. Just put them in there, and then you say, I have to. It's in my planner. Oh, my goodness. Okay, so we've got our list of 25 for engagement, and you can check that off on bingo every week. There's your bingo. You know what that is now, right? These are the people specifically, whether they're follow-ups or whatever, I'm going to be engaging with on social media so they see the post that I'm taking the time to make, and I can connect with later more organically. Your list of 64 are people that you know on that 64. Jess, what does it say? People that need the products, need the business. What does it say? It's jogging your memory of like, who can I think of that needs this, and or go through your Facebook friends list and just start writing names down. You can figure it out later. Active listening. That's something that I say a lot, and I don't know if I ever really explain what that means, but Josie said it earlier. When you are, and I hope you're not scrolling endlessly on Facebook because that's where we feel like we're wasting time. We can get in the comparison game and our mindset gets weird and then we're like, I just won't do this right now. But if you are purposely going through social media and looking through your newsfeed or searching out things about people that are on your list or something like that, actively listen to what they're saying, okay? You would be surprised how many things, and then next to their name on your notebook, kid can't poop. She deals with migraines. I need to reach out to her about Joyum. It's exactly what Josie was saying. She saw this lady who like got a botched facial. Homegirl needs Joyum and collagen, right? Active listening. People are silently screaming because they want and need what we have. They just don't know that we have it available for them. And they haven't had someone reach out and take care of them and have a conversation with them about how it could bless them. So that's something I want you to keep in mind with these lists of people. Go through, and while you're engaging, don't just comment mindlessly and be like, I'm engaging with you, I'm engaging with you. Listen out for some of these cues from these people who are desperate in some way that they're actually even sharing out loud. Another wonderful thing is ATM. We've talked about it sometimes, but we don't talk about it every week, but that's add, tag, message. This is one of the most non-threatening, kind of like the inviting to an event or sending a sample, like offering a free sample. Those are really non-threatening ways to reach out to someone for the first time, right? Hey, I'm offering you something for free. Like, who hates that? Nobody. Okay, great. I'm going to say that in my message. Add, tag, message kind of works the same way. I'm going to add someone to either Real People, Real Stories, or y'all, there's a million public wonderful testimonies, or maybe a post that you have made is a great idea too. I'm going to tag that person in that post that I think they would love or is pertinent to what they're going through or think that they would really enjoy seeing. And then I will message them, letting them know that I have tagged them in that post. Let me know when you see it. I'd love to know your thoughts on that. I'll check back later tonight and see if you got a chance to look at it. You know what I mean? Then they're going to be like, oh, she's going to check back with me. I better go look and see what she tagged me in, you know? Add, tag, message. Sometimes we just need a reason for people to talk back to us, and we need to say that like, hey, here's something that you really need to look at. I went ahead and tagged you in it, and I'm super excited to hear your thoughts on it because I really think it may be something that you'd be interested in hearing more about. You know what I mean? Does that seem like non-threatening, right? Like add, tag, message? That's super simple, and that's something a lot of teams utilize like solely for their messaging. You don't have to. But again, that's just another way to have that first contact with someone that's like, I'm just drawing attention to something I tagged you in because I thought that you'd really enjoy seeing it. You know, a mama who has children of special needs. Guess what? We have diamond documentaries and people who post all the time about how Plexus is helping their children with special needs. You may never have talked to that mama about Plexus before, but hey, I saw this post today and it really made me think of you. And this mama was sharing her heart about her and her family and how they have just been on this journey. And I really thought that it would, you know, you would really enjoy it. Let me know when you go to read it and I'd love to chat with you more about it. You know, again, we're connecting people to meet needs and we're connecting with them one-on-one. So at time, I wanted to.
Callie, can I ask a question on that?
Yes.
Okay, so on the ad part, you mentioned real people, real stories. Do we need to ask them to send them an invite before we invite them?
I don't, because it's up to them if they accept the request to join. Facebook has changed with how groups work anyway. Like you can't just willy-nilly add people anymore. You know, it used to be like you get added to a million things. Well, now you have to kind of go in, like I get added to a million things every day, but I don't see them and I don't see the post because I never go in and accept the request to join. Now, when we add people and invite people to Real People, Real Stories, they actually have to go to the page and click accept the invite before they're actually a part of that page and see what's going on in there. So I wouldn't, only because if I don't know what you're adding me to, I'm probably going to say no, you know, and then they're missing out on being connected to this. So what I would do is I would invite them and add them and say, hey, I saw a testimony on one of these private pages that I'm a part of, and I really thought that you would enjoy hearing what this woman had to say. She actually deals with a lot of the same things I hear you talking about, and I think it would really bless you to listen to that today. I've added you to that page. Here's the link, and you can share the link to it so they can just click on it. Once you accept the request, I think you'll see that I tagged you in her video. Please let me know when you watch it. I just think it's so amazing and would love to know what you think. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's not threatening. It's, people love to be thought of. You know, I do. That's like a gift giving person is like, I was at Walmart and I saw this and it made me think of you. It's like, who cares what it was? Like, you thought of me? That's so sweet at Walmart. I don't even care what it is, you know? It's the same way. I saw this and I really thought of you. And that's not ingenuine either. Like, we're seeing testimonies constantly that are reminding us of people that could benefit from what those people are saying. So yes, we're like specifically sending that message at that time to start that conversation, but you were connecting them with something that you thought that they would benefit from. Do you know what I mean? So that's also like a very genuine way to do that as well. I talked way too much in the beginning. So for those of you who jumped on, I'm so sorry. We actually did not work a ton. That was like my fault. But I want to end tonight and I want you to go out with a bang. Last week we covered all of the like setting up your intentions, so I'm not going to go over that again. Kim did amazing last week on her Work Together Wednesday and set up intentions and stuff. So tonight, your job is, and your homework is, between tonight and tomorrow, to have at least 3 people respond to you about coming to Real People, Real Stories. So guess what that means? I have no idea how many people you'll have to message in order to get 3 people to respond to you about coming to Real People, Real Stories, okay? There is message verbiage on the Real People, Real Stories post that you can copy and paste or make it sound like you. Send a link to Real People, Real Stories and say, I'm super excited. My friends are sharing. Sarah, right here, she's sharing tomorrow night. I'm so excited. So Sarah, this is an amazing way for you to reach out to people because people want to support you. You know, I say that all the time. I'm like, I'm looking for some people to come. My friends are sharing their vulnerable stories, like pieces of their stories that they just don't normally share publicly. And we want people to come rally around them and support them and hear what they have to say because it is just so amazing. Do you know what I mean? Like, people want to support and encourage you. And especially if you're the one ever sharing on Real People, Real Stories, you better reach out to people and tell people you're sharing your story. You better post that you're doing that because people want to come and at least support you, even if they don't want to buy anything. Like, that's fine. But they could hear something or see something later in that group that might change their mind and actually change their life. So that is your homework. that is, you have we have that at 9:30 tomorrow night. So literally 24 hours to have 3 people respond to you about coming to Real People, Real Stories. Okay. So with our law of averages there of 1 out of 10 responses, that may mean you have to send and post more than a few. Okay. Everyone good to go on that? That's the
Now that graphic says 8 p.m. Central Time. So is it 8 or 8:30 Central?
So, yeah, they must have changed it to 9 p.m. since it's already.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure.
Yes, if it's on the graphic, Jessica Heffley's assistant does all of the Real People, Real Story stuff now, but it is our team. It's Jesse's team and Kim's level 1, Stephanie. So we have Sarah, Marin is on here as well, and Stephanie as well are going to be sharing their story. So we definitely want to make sure not only we're all on there building belief, encouraging these ladies, giving them lots of hearts and loves while they're sharing, going live maybe for the first or second time, you know, how that feels, but also bringing people so that they're sharing their story for a reason, right? There could be someone that you invite that hears one of their stories that breaks down and cries like a baby, like I always do when I hear them. So super exciting thing to invite people to, and that happens twice a month. So I hope that tonight was helpful for you. I know we did not get a lot of like practical time in. I did not schedule myself as well as Kim did last week, but hope it was helpful in order to just wrap your brain around why we connect with people and why it's not scary, that it is really the sweetest thing you can do for someone, even if they don't realize it yet. And the more that we do that, the more we get to grow these amazing communities and have more people that are just loving our products, loving Plexus, and advocating with us to help people feel healthier than ever and better than ever. I love you guys. I'll post the recording and make sure you share it with anyone on your team who is not able to come tonight so that they can be encouraged to do hard and scary things too and realize that it's really just all wrapping around to how we get to impact other people.